Hello, welcome to Backstory with Joan Goldstein. I'm Joan Goldstein. My guest today is a brilliant young woman named Nancy Orozco. And Nancy has come to America at the tender age of 14, a teenager. And she came here as an immigrant with two younger brothers, and she has been here ever since. And in New Jersey, and she has accomplished so much. She has studied, she's gone in education, she's learned English, which at the time she arrived, she said she had very little English. And as you'll hear her speak, she speaks beautifully. Nancy, what brought you to America at the age of 14?
Well, when I was 14 years old, I came to US with my two younger brothers. We got a green card. So my parents came here before, and then they took the risk to come here and work hard for us. And then we came here. It was a struggle the first time because I couldn't understand at all English. So just a little bit because I've been learning and I was learning in my country, but it's not the same. But yeah, it was difficult. It was a struggle the first time. Some of my classmates back then when I was in high school, they made fun of me because of my accent and but every time, it made me stronger. I took ESL classes after school, and since there, I've been learning. I'm still learning, and I never stop learning. That's a beautiful language, and I'm proud of myself because I can officially say that I am a bilingual person. I can understand English, read, write, and speak, of course.
Yes, and Nancy, you came here at 14, but you're now 21, right?
No, I'm 23. It was my birthday on Sunday.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been here a while. So tell us about the wonderfully intelligent and useful things you've been doing with your life.
Well, I finished my high school and then I now I am in college. I'm studying nursing. I'm getting my degree. Then I will get my bachelor's. I'm going to my medical school. Uh, I love helping people. I'm pursuing my career as a nurse since I was a child. I always dreamed to be a nurse, to help others, to offer my service. Uh, that was my dream. It is my dream, so I'm pursuing my dream. And yeah, when I was in Guatemala, Guatemala is a small country close to Mexico. Um, I was living, I grew up in Guatemala City, but I was born in a small town in Guatemala. My grandparents, they have a farm there, and I love going visiting my grandparents and farm. I love the village. But when I was 4 years old, I went to Guatemala City to get more opportunities. And that's why I started learning English there. And there are more opportunities in the city than but it was wonderful. It was wonderful. My childhood, everything. Um, yeah, um, that's amazing. Then I came here. That's a beautiful country. I love being here. It was like I said, it was a struggle at first time, but that's lovely. Learn and know another people, the language, their culture, everything.
And you
So
work, don't you?
yeah,
She works as well as going to school. So she'll work all day and
yeah,
then she leaves and she goes off to her classes at the college.
correct. Yeah, that's right. I am a full-time worker and a part-time student. I work 8 hours and then I go to school to at night. So yeah, that's a hard, but are pursuing my goals, and I know I trust on myself. I'm proud of myself, and I know I will make all my goals, and my dreams will come true.
Wonderful, wonderful, Nancy. One of the things that you and I have been talking about is what's happened to your generation since the pandemic. There have been deep and serious problems that have come about for young people, for students in the high schools, and now for those who go to college. And it's a struggle. So not only do you have had to deal with being an immigrant, but also with the pandemic that affected the lives of so many people of your generation. So there's more anxiety, there's more stress, there's more isolation, which it turns out we humans don't like to be isolated. We like to be connected with each other. So do you have any observations, any thoughts that might be helpful to other students?
Yeah, right. Well, it is a difficult time. We know that. Also for me, because I don't like, take online classes. That's a struggle too. Because, well, many time I didn't, pay attention to my classes. That's hard. And, sometimes I had a bad connections, but yeah, my thoughts are, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, no matter what, you have to achieve the goal and make the dreams come true. That's my, my strong, um and I never get up. I never get up. So for others outside out there, uh I can say that never get up no matter what. You have to work hard for what you want. And that's, I know it's not easy. It's not easy for me. Like I said, I work, I study, and but right now, um, I can say that there is everything that I made, that I'm making is worth it. And it will be worth it for me, for my future family, my future kids. That's wonderful. You never get up. That's my, you know, that I can say that. Just go.
What's interesting to me is that so many of us are descended from immigrants. If we ourselves were not immigrants, such as you, our parents or our grandparents or great grandparents came from some other country, some other land. They didn't speak the language. They had to work, not at well-paying jobs either, and didn't get much education. That was a big difference, yes.
That's right. Yeah. And I am a first generation going to college, actually. And yeah, because my parents had to left school because they had to work. Back then in Guatemala, it was a difficult time. So they didn't finish school. And but I'm proud of my parents because they never gave up. They always work hard for my brothers and for me. And yeah, um, but now I'm getting this opportunity to be here in this country. This country has so many opportunities, and I'm taking advantage of that opportunities for my future. And and I want to be, you know, proud, and I want my parents to be proud of me and achieve my goals. So yeah, because they didn't have the opportunity to finish school because they had to work. It was difficult, but they took the risk to come here and work hard for us. Yeah.
Yes, it takes more than one generation, doesn't it, Nancy?
It
Yeah.
is.
Yes, my parents did not go to high school,
Wow.
and they left school at the age of 10, 11, 12, and went to work. And yet, my mother loved literature. She loved Shakespeare, so she used to read us Shakespeare at night as bedtime stories. She went through full, Romeo and Juliet, The Merchant of Venice. We had all of that from my mother, who so much loved literature, so much loved music. She was a musician too. But they had to struggle, right, because they couldn't get any further in their education. There's another story I have from my family, that my grandfather came home one day from the sweatshops, that they called them, that they worked in, and he had a piece of paper in his hand with some writing on it. And my grandmother said, "Well, what does it say?" He said, "I don't know, I can't read." So she said, "Oh, no, that's no good. You have to read. You have to read." She finds somebody to teach
Right.
my grandpa how to read. And the greatest ritual of his life was getting a newspaper on Saturday night, that he could sit down and read the newspaper. And all of his many 8 children, my mother was one of 8, would come home from wherever they had been with their friends, and always had to have the newspaper for Grandpa. Grandpa had to read the newspaper. That was his liberation. And I remember one time he was very angry. He is reading the newspaper and he's ranting and ranting, and I'm the only one there listening to him, some little girl. And so I looked at him like, "What's going on?" And then he looked at me, and he looked down at me, and he said, "Hitler is a very bad man." That's what he was reading in the newspaper. And that's what he was ranting about. So really, being an immigrant means a struggle. It means maybe not getting as much education as you become the next generation. That's the beauty of it. You become the next generation, and you can go further in your way in school, and you're doing it. Now, it's not easy for you. Nobody's handing you anything, are they? You're doing
No.
it all on your own, aren't you, Nancy? And this is why I wanted Nancy to come on my TV show, because she is a wonderful example of what immigrants do and can do if we bring them to this country. And they will work, and they will make efforts, and they will do what they can because they appreciate the opportunities to move along in their lives. And we must remember this, you see, we must appreciate that others are struggling, and our lives and our families struggle too. But this is where we're at. This is what we're about. So what would you advise some of the young people now going to college or finishing high school, who are also having to deal with the pandemic, having to deal with the depression and isolation that the pandemic has created in our society?
Well, my advice is, in this difficult time, we have to get, you know, like a stronger, opportunity, and make goals, and and achieve the goals. So right now, um, now I'm pursuing my career. So I'm getting my degree. It's not easy. Many people, well, when I was in high school, some of my classmates, they used to say, well, I, I'm not going to college because it's not worth it. That's a waste of money and time. And but I said, well, no, it's not. I really want to go to college and achieve my goals. It was my dream since I was a child. So if you have a dream, never give up, work hard for your dreams and goals. And you one day you will remember me and say, yeah, that girl said never get up. So yeah, I never get up. I'm still learning this language, and it is difficult. It is uh, being around people who speak so fast and fluent and understand everything. And I was like a little, just a little child, and I couldn't understand. But right now, I can say that I speak a fluent English, and I'm still learning. And you know, for those who has the opportunity to born here, and the if your first language is English, it hasn't to be hard at all. And please work hard for your dreams, and that will be worth it. I can say that. I am a blessed person, um, because I I've been working hard. It's That's one of my advice. It was difficult the first time, but now here I am, sharing my experiences, and I love doing this, and no matter what, I never stop, and I will never stop.
Keep on going. Keep
Yeah.
on going. Yes, yes. That's the wonderful thing. And when Nancy had told me that she was applying for a scholarship to go to nursing school, I wanted to write a letter for her, and I did. And what did I pay attention to? What did I talk about in the letter, Nancy? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, you actually wrote about me and what wonderful person I am, a hard worker, and how I help people here. And then I always well, I never lost like my mind between work and study. I always focus myself and do my work as much as I can, and then go to school and pay attention to everything. So my teachers, they tell me how can I handle it, work and study. But you know sometimes I don't know too. But here I am. Yeah, that's a beautiful experience.
Mhm. You appreciated more because you had to work for it. Yes, it wasn't handed to you, and it meant something to you. Yes, I also went to school at night and worked during the day, and that's how I got my graduate degrees also. And I can tell you that it certainly takes a lot of work, as you know, and I know. But on the other hand, at the end of the day, you've gotten what you wanted. You obtained your goals, and that's what makes you feel good. So you have to keep on going, right? And we should tell all the young people, even if they feel they've lost their way because of the pandemic, keep on going. Don't give up on yourself. Things will change. and hopefully you can start to do what you want to do.
Yes.
The most important thing is to keep on going, to keep on, yes, keep on going. Well, Nancy, you know, it's a joy to talk to you. When I wrote the letter, by the way, for her for nursing school, I pointed out two of her qualities that would make her an excellent nurse. One is that she's very kind. She's very nice to people. And that certainly helps when someone is ill. Even when you're not ill, it helps. But the other thing is that she's so organized. Oh my gosh. Give her your closet and she will start to arrange it and rearrange it. And all of a sudden, she's organized in a way that you can't imagine. And these are two excellent qualities that would make anyone an excellent nurse. And that's why I'm so happy to see that she's chosen that for her profession. And somewhere along the way, she will help people and she will make them feel good. And that's what we love. That's what we want to see in you, Nancy. And we want to see it in many of our young people who have lost their way, have been discouraged by the pandemic, by being lonely and isolated. And our message is what? Don't give up, right?
Don't give up. Yep.
And
work hard, no matter what.
No matter what. Okay. And thank you so much, Nancy, for coming to visit today.
It was my pleasure.
Backstory with Joan Goldstein. What a lovely backstory this one is.
It is.
Thank you so much. And we should certainly feel positive towards immigrants who find their way here and want to help and help them as well. Thank you so much for coming to Backstory with Joan Goldstein. Goodbye.